Some sun glare. Oof, beautiful day here in Adelaide, Australia. Vitamin B12. The question is from Matt. Do you know what? I noticed you said that you don't take vitamin B12 anymore. This is let's give some context to that, and this is what this video is about. Vitamin B12. It's a vitamin, water soluble, very, very safe, very, very common in the vegan scene, in the bodybuilding scene, in the cycling scene, running, Olympic athletic scene, the health scene, the vegetarian, the carnivore. Vitamin B12. A lot of people take it. I've been taking it for probably the first time I took a vitamin B12 supplement would have been maybe age 8 when I was taking Centrum multivitamins. So I've taken it on and off for 35, 40 years, whatever. And so I've also done the B12 injections, intramuscular deltoid with 29 gauge insulin needle. Very, very effective, the most effective way to get your B12 levels peaking. Even when I was a meat eater, I was taking vitamin B12 because I had low B12 as a meat eater. So that's why it's really important, if you are concerned about vitamin B12, regardless of your dietary choices. Ideally you're vegan, but regardless of that, vitamin B12 is very important. And so one of the main things of deficiency is fatigue. And we see it a lot in society. I mean, this is a beautiful park here this morning. There's hardly anyone here. And this is a city of 1 million people. So it's like fatigue is rampant. People on coffee, just to drive a car, just to operate some machine, just to stay awake. They're just like, people are so tired. They're just like falling asleep at work. For many reasons: dehydration, not enough carbs, late nights, certain medications. But vitamin B12 deficiency could be. So if you are concerned about B12, then the only way to guarantee it is the vitamin B12 intramuscular jabs, which you can do them yourself. Depends what country you live in. Most countries are over-the-counter OTC, meaning no prescription required. Very safe. If you look up cyanide poisoning, sometimes people working in certain industries will get exposure to cyanide levels that could potentially kill them. And so the solution to that is intravenous cyanocobalamin infusion there, and it's like 5 grams or so. Don't quote me, but have a look. So the tolerance, I don't think it's an LD50 of vitamin B12, so it's very, very safe. Now, in terms of why I've stopped taking it, I haven't stopped taking it. I rarely take it these days because my hemoglobin levels have just come up so much for various reasons. One of them being on and off anabolic usage. Eat a very high sugar diet that increases hemoglobin. What is hemoglobin? It's a protein, an element you could call it, just something in your body that you need for oxygen transfer, uptake, delivery. And the more hemoglobin you have, the more energy you almost have, the more cardio you have, the more stamina you have, the better thinking, clarity, things like that. Better health to a degree. But too much hemoglobin, your blood can become thick as well if you get dehydrated. All right, so if you're drinking alcohol, if you have high blood pressure, if you have heart disease in your family, certain things, if you have high hemoglobin, that can cause a clot and thrombosis and embolisms and not so good. So hemoglobin is very, very beneficial, but again, like the sunshine, too much of a good thing is still too much. So I found that vitamin B12 for me increased my hemoglobin from about 135 to up to like 150, 160. And then you throw anabolics in the mix, they can easily go up to like 180. So, which is, for some people out there, they would laugh at that because they're like, that's not even high. But for me, it's high enough. If you want to be running a sub 2 hour marathon or a sub 210, 220 marathon, then you need very, very high hemoglobin levels. Grotesquely high in some people's opinions, but again, then you'd be super hydrated and have super physiological levels of hydration in your body, etc. So thin blood. But that's why I rarely use B12 injections these days, just because my hemoglobin stays up pretty well, and that's the main reason I was using it. For you, do your own homework on vitamin B12. If you've got any elderly people in your family, anyone suffering from depression, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, bad memory, etc., then you obviously want to increase their sugar intake, decrease their oil intake, get their early nights and stuff like that. But also look at B12 status. Run a B12 test, run the test. The doctors generally won't want to do it because like, no, are you a vegetarian or you're a vegan? Oh, you're not, then your B12 will be fine. Don't worry about it. And then meanwhile, people are suffering with some severe symptoms. So been a lot of data out there, the Harvard nurses study, etc., where they concluded around 39% of Americans are B12 deficient or low normal levels. So in Japan, the cutoff for B12 deficiency is quite high. It's around 500. In Australia, it's about 180. So in Australia, it could be like 400 on your serum B12 test. Doctors say, no worries, mate. She'll be right, cuz. She'll be right, bro. At Punch Bowl Pharmacy. And then go to Japan, they're like, man, you need B12 jabs right now. Let's flick that pick and let's get it in, So yeah, I am a fan of the B12 injections, intramuscular. Often people are like, oh, injection, they get stigma about it. It's just a vitamin, people. It's just a vitamin. And anyway, regardless of what it was, it's your health. It's your health, it's your life quality, it's your performance, all right? Performance in life for you. All right? Don't compare yourself to me or whoever. Compare yourself to where you are now, where you want to be, and what you have to do to bridge the gap. And for me, my decision to use B12 back in the day, before I even knew what the word vegan meant, was I was just like, oh, this sounds like an important vitamin, I'll try it. And it made me did feel a little bit better. But and then as a vegan, then I started getting more educated about the topic as well. But it's definitely not something that vegans need to focus on. Everyone needs to focus on B12 because it's such a common vitamin deficiency. Right? It's such like vitamin D. We wear a lot of clothing, we wear sunnies, so a lot of people don't get much exposure to the sun, sufficient exposure to the sun. You're living in the northern hemisphere or wherever. It's like, so I always make sure I get my sun every day, not too much, just a Goldilocks amount, and things like that. So yeah, that's hopefully that answers the question. Main reason I stopped using it much less, maybe a couple of 1,000 microgram a year instead of once a month, was my hemoglobin levels they just seem to be consistently high, and I don't have any B12 deficiency symptoms. I've been vegan 19 years, but that doesn't even mean anything, because you could be a B12 deficient person on any diet, right? But if you're a runner out there, you probably watch my videos if you're trying to lose some weight, you're trying to get your performance, you've got kids, your life's full on, then I would definitely look into vitamin B12 intramuscular injections with that insulin needle, 29 gauge in the delt, super painless. It's just maybe a little bit of a sting here and there. It's just, it's nothing, I remember one time, I wrapped up the video, I was in Woodstock Fruit Festival 2013, I think, and there was this, really good looking, I think he's from Germany, like quite staunch, muscular guy, and we gave him a B12 shot in this little room. We were doing heaps of shots to people, and he fainted. He put his head on the desk and he fainted. And I thought he was just trolling. I'm like, this strong looking dude, scared of needles, no way. And he fainted. And then within 2 seconds, I was like, okay, he isn't trolling. And I grabbed his feet, just lifted him above his heart level, and then bang, he just come to life. And he's like, what happened? And I said, bro, you fainted. He goes, yeah, I'm really scared of needles. So if you are scared of needles, which you shouldn't be, which people are though, just lay down, all right? Just lay down, close your eyes, lay down. So whenever I give someone a B12 injection these days, I'm like, hey, do you have a needle phobia? It's okay if you do. Okay, if you do, lay down. If they pause, like, I'm like, lay down. And we just lay them down, and they're good to go. All right? So if anyone ever faints, just lay them down, make sure the airways are not obstructed, and put their feet above their heart line, and the blood can come back into the head. They're good to go. And just calm down. Just don't make a big deal, but just say, hey, faint, it's all right. Just relax. The frame you're in is the frame other people will be in. See you on the road.